Sonic Origins Plus is coming to modern consoles on June 23rd to align with the 1-year anniversary of the original game, and if you're like me, you might be on the fence whether or not you should pick up a copy. So let's go over the facts and talk about some pros and cons so we can make an informed decision. Sonic Origins was originally released on June 23, 2022 to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the series. It's a compilation of the first 4 Sonic games: Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. This isn't just a basic port that emulates the game. Technically, it's a remake, as the games themselves were rebuilt from scratch using the Retro engine, which was used recently for the well-received Sonic Mania. The most immediately noticeable upgrade here is the option to play in widescreen, which makes these 90s games look great on modern TVs. Speaking of Sonic Mania, one of the best inclusions in that game was a brand new animated short to open the game. Illustrated by Tyson Hess, aka the guy Sega hired to fix Ugly Sonic.
Not like last time when the internet got one look at my human teeth and burned the place down!
This animated sequence is just awesome. For Sonic Origins, each game opens and closes with animated shorts illustrated by Hess. While Origins does a good job preserving the details of the original games, certain things were bound to be lost to time. As many Sonic fans are aware, the soundtrack for Sonic 3 was largely composed by the late Michael Jackson. Yes, that Michael Jackson. Due to the legal hell required to relicense that music, among other reasons, the original Sonic 3 soundtrack has been stuck on the Genesis ever since. Every re-release of the game since has used an inferior prototype soundtrack instead. For Origins, Sega tried to have their cake and eat it too by having longtime Sonic composer Jun Senoue remake the prototype soundtrack. Despite Senoue being a great composer, many fans greatly preferred the original Michael Jackson soundtrack. But it is what it is. You can play each game in Classic Mode or Anniversary Mode, which removes lives and game overs. In lieu of extra lives, whenever you get 100 rings this time around, you'll get a coin, which you could use to retry special stages. You could also use coins to unlock music tracks and artwork from these early Sonic games. In Origins, you play as Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles across all 4 games, with the exception of Knuckles and Sonic CD for some reason. There's a mission mode that provides extra objectives to mix up the gameplay a little, a boss rush mode where you'll face a gauntlet of several bosses in a row with limited rings, and a mirror mode which flips all the stages horizontally. Sonic Origins was a pretty good compilation when it first released, but it received mixed reviews from critics. Mainly, that the new features and extras didn't warrant a full-priced game, and that it was basically a shameless cash grab. It also didn't help that there was quite a few glitches upon the game's launch. To be clear, this is far from the first time the early Sonic games were repackaged as a new collection. In fact, Sega has been repackaging Sonic the Hedgehog since the Genesis days, with the first simply called Sonic Compilation, including the first 2 games. But arguably, the best collection up until Origins was the Sonic Mega Collection Plus, released on the PS2, Xbox, and PC in 2005. It has everything from Origins, minus Sonic CD. So here is where we have a division between people who liked it and people that didn't. Essentially, it's a solid remake of the first 4 games. There's already Sonic compilations out there, and for less than $40. Normally, I'd say yes, it is worth it, if not for anything else than its portability, being on the Switch and all, but even that's a little iffy, because technically, there was a portable compilation already on the Nintendo DS, although, like the others before, it doesn't come with Sonic CD. So with Sonic Origins, we have a similar dilemma we had with games like the recent Tales of Symphonia remaster. That is to say, do you want to pay full price for a decades-old game?
You sure about that?
But get to enjoy the convenience of playing it on modern consoles? An answer to that, usually, is that's completely up to your preference. Personally, Sonic is exactly the sort of game I'd want to whip out my Switch and play while I'm out and about and have some free time. So that's everything you need to know about Origins. Let's next talk about Plus and see if that sweetens the deal or not. Announced earlier this year, Sonic Origins Plus includes all the pre-order and DLC from Origins, along with the inclusion of Knuckles in Sonic CD, and Amy Rose as a playable character in all 4 games. It also includes 12 Sonic Game Gear games, which haven't been seen for quite a while. That's probably for good reason though. Speaking subjectively here, I remember being a kid playing those titles on my Game Gear, and they kinda blow. It's cool that they're included, but technically, if you want the full package of games, you can find most of them between the Sonic Mega Collection and the Sonic Gems Collection. Again, there are other reasons to buy Origins, but if you're just in it for the Game Gear games, you have other options. Plus, we'll have a physical release compared to Origins, which was a digital-only game. To the mildly observant gamer, it would seem that Sonic Origins simply wasn't finished on time and that the developers really wanted it published to line up with Sonic's 30th anniversary above all else. Origins pre-order bonuses and DLC were of dubious quality, like added songs and letterbox art, which clearly should have just been part of the game, but were instead tacked on after the fact and positively spun as bonuses. Knuckles' inclusion now in Sonic's CD kinda makes that theory all but obvious. So for those that bought Sonic Origins when it first came out, I understand why you might feel like you got a little burnt. Plus isn't just the definitive version of the game, it's the version that the game should have been when you paid for it originally, and if you already have the digital version of Origins, I think there's little reason to buy Plus, unless you're a huge Amy Rose fan or something. The $40 price point is a tough pill to swallow, but I get it. Like I mentioned before, these games have been remade with a new engine rather than just emulated, so while most players won't notice much difference, there was undeniably a lot of work put into it. So to summarize, let's go over the pros and cons of Sonic Origins Plus. Pros: the first 4 Sonic games and the option to play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, or Amy. Remastered, cleaner graphics, and widescreen mode look great on modern TVs. Bonus content like Boss Rush mode and Mirror mode, museum with art and music galleries, save states and other modern amenities, quality of life improvements and extra flourishes like animated openings, nice looking menus, etc., and it's being released on modern consoles. Cons: the $40 price tag may not be worth it to some people. Those who bought Origins digitally don't really have much reason to upgrade. Origins had a bunch of bugs, Plus might be the same, but that remains to be seen, and no original Sonic 3 soundtrack. Overall, I think the scales tip towards buying it, but that's only if you haven't already bought the old digital version, and if you don't care about spending more money on games that you've probably bought several times in the past.
Shut up and take my money!
In the end, you have to decide if it's worth it for you. As for me, I can't wait to play this with a Joy-Con in one hand and a chili dog in the other. Sonic Origins Plus comes to all modern consoles on June 23rd. If you like this video, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I'm a small channel, and these little things help me grow and reach a bigger audience. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video.